Hey guys, it's Pat from Pat's Brewery, and you're going to get behind the scenes at the bar today. Okay, so what am I talking about? About behind the scenes at the bar? Well, I've recently had a few comments, saying, bar looks really nice, and thank you for those compliments. I do appreciate that. And I thought, even though I do have a few videos in the archive of how the bar kind of started out, how it's been built a little bit, kind of some of the improvements I've made, I figured why not give an overall tour of what's back here and kind of what we've got going on. Just because you guys always get one or maybe two views, which quite often are designed to make sure you don't see the mess. But this is a bit of a no holds bars. You can come and see it all. And as I say, I'm always doing slight improvements to the bar. I think I've only got one left. I've got one improvement left, but I've just done a new one, so might as well talk to you about that while I give you a tour. Alright, you talk about this. So I guess first things first, let's go through what you can see right now in front of you. So obviously got this bar unit here. So surprisingly, this piece of the bar, so we've got Keezer bar, the actual bar was made relatively cheaply out of scraps and bits and pieces. The actual bar top was the only bit of wood that I had to buy in of itself. I didn't have a piece, so this is a B&Q jobby. How they just sell some planks of set. I don't think it's meant to be a proper work top or anything like that, but I just varnished the hell out of it. With regards to the front and the side, there's just a bit of framework in there of 2x2s. Actually, the bit that's on the side under there, I don't know if you can see, I'll show you in a bit. That's actually along the offcut of this that I didn't need, because I didn't feel like my bar needed to go all the way over there. But other than that, it's all kind of offcuts. So the actual front pieces that you may or may not be able to see, I don't know how I set this up. I'll show you properly in a bit. That's actually offcuts of the kind of the shed or summer house, depending on who you're talking to. So that was really handy, and there's no real difficulty in that. It's like I've all scraps that's just been stained. So that bit, I think it really has a nice aesthetic to it, is actually fully kind of just pulled together with very little skill. Then we've got obviously our hand pull. If you're wondering where I got the hand pull from, I got it from RLBS. They recommission and refit hand pulls. I don't think they're necessarily the cheapest, but every time I tried to get a hand pull via like eBay or anything like that, the prices were actually just going up and up and up for one that you didn't know necessarily worked, but was ending up going to cost as much or more than one or five of these guys. So I decided to go with my hand pull from there. Little bar clip, just donated, but I'm going to put some effort into the next few beers when I do it on the hand pull. I'm going to do my own pump clips. Anyway, so that's on the bar. For everything else, we'll have to bring you on a tour. So let's do that. So just in case you couldn't see, that's the wood that I was talking about. The bar and the Keezer. Let's have a look over here. So what do we have? So we've got 5 taps and recently upgraded to a I-tap as well. I bit the bullet and went that way. I don't know, wasn't necessarily needed, but I did think, screw it, why not? We'll have a go. And they did make the bottling of those beers a lot easier. But that's that. Oh, just noticed that there's some wood chips on the, what's it called, drip trays. That is because of the improvements I've made. I've been cutting in bits and pieces, so I do need to clean that off. This is an uncut version, obviously. So, in case you're wondering, yeah, the 5 taps have been there for a while. They are the adjustable style, which is meant to help with your pour rates, but most of them I actually keep at a relatively wide open flow. I think it's actually been better changing the diameter of the tubing to help with flow rates rather than it all being at the tap. It does help a little bit, but not too much. With regards to my actual tap handles, they were done by my friend Mike. So for these 4, he actually used microphone screws or something, because to actually put into the wood, they fitted quite well, and then they work on the screw threads that are actually part of the taps. But for the black one that he's got there, what he actually did is he actually got, I gave him one of the knobs that go or come with the taps, and he actually fitted that inside a chunk of wood. Don't know how. Too clever for me. Right, I'm going to talk a bit more about this in a sec. Over here, what do we have? We have a rag. Good bar has to have a rag. So, as I say, over here is beer engine from there. Again, little shelf for my beer glasses. So that needs a clean as well. Can you uncut? And we do also have the little, is that called a C-wrench? I think it's a C-wrench. It's the one that's used to tighten those. But that always stays in here as well. Oh, regarding my glasses, someone asked the other day where I got them from. MBS Wholesale. And these were Abbey beer tankards, 20 ounces. Now, I do have spares. So because I've been planning on doing the old Pattoberfest beer festival for quite a while, and I didn't know how many people were coming, that site has a reduced section, and when these came up I absolutely bought loads. Some did come broken, but I bought enough so it didn't matter. That being said, they don't always have reduced items on what you want, so you know, promo to them, but also saying that you could probably get what you needed for cheaper if you only need a few. There's the beer engine from this side. As I mentioned, RLBS is the company. Mentioned chrome drip trays. Okay, what is the main improvement that I've made to the Keezer? Well, originally the Keezer, it's got a front facing that's on that side, and then it's got this piece that goes along. And originally it just was one long facing, and behind there is where I keep my gas. Well, a couple of months ago I picked up my nephew, and he was only like 3, maybe 4. No, he's only 3. Anyway, threw my back out, I did, and it bloody hurt. And I've realised that I'm not as young as I used to be. So, in this latest update, what I have done is lift that up, added a little hinge so I can get my gas. So yeah, I am still using a toy sword to hold up my Keezer lid. I need to stick in, and this isn't the improvement that I still want to do to the Keezer. That nice simple hinge just to make my life easier for getting the gas bolt in and out. I need to sort out a little hinge bit of wood or something that goes inside there. The only problem that I think I have is that you want the lid open, but you don't want the thing that's holding it up to get in the way, and finding the perfect place is a bit of a pain. So a movable sword, I should probably replace with a bit of wood, makes sense. Anyway, let's carry on. So yeah, got a nice little hinge door that just makes it easier to get the gas in and out. Tell you what, to make everything look better, this edging, I mean, my woodwork is terrible. It's almost as bad as my electrical work. In any case, adding in like this edging just covers up any kind of nasties or anything that you muck up. Yeah, so got that everywhere. You can probably tell that these bits have been added new because turns out I used a different stain to what I used before, so I do need to make some slight changes there. Right, with regards to the guts of the Keezer, something else that is new recently, I've added in a little heat tube. So that's not going to be its final place. Its final place is related to the one more thing that I want to do. But I'll talk about everything else that's in here first for those that haven't had a look in here before. So I fit 5 corny kegs in here and a bag in a box. That one's looking a little bit worse for wear. It was causing me some issues when putting it all in there. That's why it's all open. But anyway, the way that I know it looks like a mess, and it kind of is, but there is a little bit of thought to the madness of all the tubing. So except this one, which I had issues with, all of the other beer line runs this way along the back underneath the gas ins around, and then they come out. So it's always set up so that you've got the longest lines going the right, you know, it all works out. It all works out, it's fine. I do need to change over these 2 lines at some point because these ones are using the 3/8 that then go down to 3/16. Come on, focus, you bugger. Come on. Yeah, so it's the 3/8 going down to the 3/16, which really does help with the old beer line. With regards to my gas, I'm using the secondary regulators, which pretty simple regulators. Would I recommend them? Not necessarily, but I don't not recommend them. I dare say it's whatever you can find that's relatively cheap that does what you need, and these do what I need. Gas lines coming out, so obviously to the relevant one. The only one that is a little bit different is that this corny here goes to tap number 1, but it's got gas line number 2. That's the only thing that's a little bit different. Over here you can see a couple of fans. So that fan there is actually attached to a tube, which, because I've got a full Keezer, technically 2 have just emptied, but down the bottom there we've got some tubing that circles the bottom with some holes in, and the idea, I don't know if it really works, is that we are circulating the hot air down into the bottom and blowing it up so that it kind of circulates the temperature. Got our temperature probe, which need to make sure whenever we close this lid actually sits in the middle of the kegs and not on top, because that is how you do have some freezing issues like I have in the past recently. That was a bit of a mission. Right, what was I going to say? Yep, the last improvement that we're going to be doing is, you can see that this bag in a box is a bag in a box, but it is sitting on, maybe you can or can't see, another bag in a box. It's just a box there, but it's, you know, the same sort of box. And that just raises it up to the right height so that things can get connected okay. The intention is to replace that cardboard box with a little wooden frame that will be hollow, and then what we'll do is we'll actually have the heating element underneath the bag in the box with a fan behind it blowing the air, so basically so the heat doesn't just sit at the top. Not that we have to often heat in here, but it is getting to winter, so, you know, You don't want those freezing temperatures. Anyway, let's come out. So that is the guts of the Keezer, if you're wondering. So yeah, that is the guts of the Keezer and the bar behind the scenes. Only thing actually I didn't show you was the wiring that's behind here that also does the PID over into the freezer and that. Also didn't mention that I've got a fridge freezer down here as well, which is nice for storing beers and ice and such in it. Yeah. With regards to, if you're wondering, does this get sealed okay? Yeah, it does. I think on this front strip I might get some of that window sealant just to make sure, because there's a little bit of a gap, but overall it's all fine. You know what, I think that is about it for the behind the scenes. This is what I got going on. What am I going to be doing now? Well, I've been very, very fortunate and been sent some beers, so I might do a beer review now. Why not? Why not? Until next time, guys. It's been Pat from Pat's Brewery and Pat's Bar, and take it easy. Cheers.